5 little ducks went out.
I'll never
one
forget when I was
day
about 18 years old and
over
as a
the
pool
hill
attendant
and
in a
far
hotel in Atlantic City.
away.
I pulled a little boy from the bottom of 4 feet of water. There was about 25 people around the pool milling around. Luckily he survived, but I'll never forget that day, and neither will his mother. About 4,000 people die every year in the United States from drowning. That's 10 people a day. 1 in 6 of people who drown are children under age 4. And his mother had been only a few feet away from him, but she had no idea what had happened. Most kids under age 4 who drown die within 25 yards of any adult present. And it happens mostly at home, either in a home swimming pool or in a bathtub.
Hell, he just went under.
3 to 5 times more people near drown than actually die of drowning. That's a pretty big number. As a physician, I took care of many people who near drowned, and it was not a pleasant experience. Those who survived ended up with brain or neurologic damage, sometimes even in a vegetative state. Many ended up with PTSD type symptoms, and some ended up in long-term care. This summer, my daughter enrolled our grandkids, ages 2 and 4, in a swim program, and I was really thrilled. The program is one of many out there, but I found this one particularly interesting. I'm here with Ilana Black. You were a pediatric heart ICU nurse for a number of years.
Correct, yeah.
Now that's a big switch. What made you decide to go into swimming instruction?
I was actually a swim instructor long before I was a nurse.
So on a typical day when a parent or supervising adult brings a child to their class, how are these classes?
The lessons are every day, Monday through Friday, and it's a one-on-one lesson. So the student and the instructor, myself and the student, are in the water together 5 days a week, and it's for a few weeks. We do not have a set number of lessons. It's completely individually tailored to each child. So they're in lessons until they master the skills.
And how long does each lesson last?
It's a 10-minute lesson.
10 minutes?
It's only 10 minutes.
That's not very long.
It is not very long, and sometimes that's a little bit hard for people to imagine that it's only a 10-minute lesson, but if you observe the lessons, you'll see the students are working very hard. It's a very physically taxing lesson, a lot of repetition, and so 10 minutes is just about enough for their physical exertion, but also their attention span.
Tell me a little bit about the philosophy of your teaching in your program. It's called ISR?
It's ISR's acronym. The program is Infant Swimming Resource. Not one more child drowns is our mission, because drowning is the #1 cause of accidental death for children under the age of 4 and under. It might surprise you that you need a license from the state if you want to do somebody's fingernail as a manicurist or a pedicurist. If you want to cut somebody's hair, you need a license from the state. Yet to teach people how to swim requires no licensing whatsoever. As part of your ISR program, what do you have to do to be certified? The instructor program is one of the unique hallmarks of the ISR program. It is a very intensive instructor training program. It's about a 2-month process. Academically, the student instructor works with their master instructor for about 2 months, and then they're in the water every single day with their master instructor for a full 6 weeks.
So they follow a whole group of brand new students through their entire course of lessons under the guidance of their master instructor.
So it sounds like this is a very thorough certification process that you go through. Now, I understand that there are other programs in the country like the American Red Cross that has some water safety training. I guess from program to program, there's variability.
Yes.
And
yes.
then since there's no licensing body,
Right.
you can put up a mom and pop, I'm going to teach you to swim.
Right. Anyone can claim or offer aquatic self-rescue lessons or be an instructor. You don't have to have an official licensure. Like you said, there's no licensing body. You don't even have to have CPR and first aid if you want to teach.
What?
I mean, really, I wish I could think of any statistics of how many people died last year in the United States from getting their fingernails done or even getting a haircut. With drowning? Let's get serious here. You know, there's a controversy about whether children from 1 to 4 years old have the muscular and neurological ability to actually be able to learn to swim. Margaret Mead, the great anthropologist, back in the 1930s made the observation that peoples in the South Pacific, their children could actually be in the water swimming at around the same time that they learned to walk. So it is possible for children to learn many of the maneuvers required for learning to float and swim. I forgot to tell you something. Did you know that 6 out of 10 black kids don't know how to swim? Over 4 out of every 10 Latino kids don't know how to swim. And if your family happens to make less than $50,000 a year, you're 80% less likely to have your kids know how to swim than families who make more than that. Folks, this is a social issue as well. How do we fix it? Just like most problems, there's never any one single answer. Kids who undergo training in swimming have an 88% reduction in the risk of drowning than kids who don't have any swimming instruction. But there are other things you can do, and it's a multifaceted approach.
It isn't just about learning how to float and swim to the edge. If you had advice for a parent, what would you tell them?
It seems obvious to tell a parent never take your eyes off of your child. But constant eyes on is what we call it. We call it be your child's CEO, constant eyes on. And we know that that is not always possible. Wear bright bathing suits. We always promote bright colored bathing suits because you can instantly see your child in the water if they fall in. Layers of protection, we call it. So fencing around the pool, child safe pool fencing, pool alarms, locks on your doors that are high up so the kids can't reach them. All of these are layers of protection.
Oh, and I forgot to tell you another thing. Back about 2500 BCE, there is evidence that the Egyptians and the Assyrians were swimming. Later on, the Greeks and the Romans copied this. In fact, the Romans made it compulsory for any males who were training for war to learn how to swim. And they also made it compulsory to learn the alphabet. So, if you can learn the alphabet, you should learn to swim. There you have it. See you next time.